Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Yesterday, the new online exclusive launched, and it was this horse and sleigh stamp set, which is bundled with the horse and sleigh dies. There's also the adhesive back snowflakes assortment and a pack of 6x6" designer series paper called One Horse Open Sleigh. These are the pretty papers. They're all snowy scenes. This one's got a fox in it. Trees, woodland, the deer, snowy landscape, an aerial view of the woods, this lit house, chalet, more woodland, and this snowy scene as well. So I'm going to make a quick, easy card, half a sheet of this designer series paper. I'm going to be using this sentiments and a Happy New Year, and this is the card we're making. So in order to make the 6x6" sheet stretch a bit further, I've simply cut it in half. You need some vellum cardstock for the label. I didn't want the label to hide the scene behind, so I stamped it on vellum cardstock. The dies I'm using are the Countryside Corner dies, and I think I used the third largest Countryside Corner die to cut my aperture. The inks I'm using are Pool Party Versamark, and I'll need the embossing tools additions kit to clear emboss the greeting here. I'm also going to be using the white embossing powder to emboss the snowflakes on top here. The card base is half an A4 sheet, and in Europe this measures 5 7/8 by 8 1/4, and in metric that will be 14.5 by 21 centimeters and folded in half. And you need one basic white and one Pool Party matte layer. Both of these have been cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and in metric that will be 9.5 by 14 centimeters. Now I'm going to tap some embossing buddy over the vellum cardstock, and this is how you can make the whatever you're stamping into whatever colour you want by using clear embossing powder. And the way to do that is you stamp with the Versamark first. I've inked it up with Versamark, and then now you have to ink it up with the coloured ink. Make sure your vellum cardstock is straight, and then stamp this on top. Sprinkle that with embossing powder, then heat set it. So whenever you're embossing, allow your heat tool to heat up first before applying it to your embossing. Now, don't hold it in one area for too long. As soon as you see it set, move it along so that you don't overheat it. Die cut the aperture, so I'm going to just anchor that with some painter's tape so the die doesn't move, and I'll go and cut that off camera. So there's my aperture cut don't discard that. You could probably use it for another project. Next I'm going to put the dust buddy on the top of the matte layer that's been cut. And I'm going to stamp the snowflakes at random. Bring in my white embossing powder, and I'm just going to sprinkle that on top of this stamped snowflakes and heat set it. Now I want to trim my cardstock, and you want to find out which part of the seam you want. So I'm going to make a mark with a pencil. It's 5.5 this way, so let's measure the aperture. The aperture is 4 inches. I want to cut it round about here so that the seam will still show. Just double check. Yes, it's covered. And I'll just nip a bit off the top. 4 3/4. So now I want to put dimensionals on the back of this matte layer. Glue this to your card front. I've already put tear and tape on the back. You can use Tombow adhesive. If you lift up the tear and tape and just put it on the side like that at an angle so you can get at it, then it allows you to position it on your paper without gluing it down just yet. And when you're happy with it, then you can press it down and remove the tape like so. Now you can pop your matte layer on top. Don't forget, you know, the edges of your stamping dimensionals are really useful for when you want to put dimensionals on the die cut layer. Sometimes if you don't add dimensionals on the aperture, it tends to sink when you post it. Position it over, keep an eye on the edges so you have an even border all round. So I put a bit of adhesive on the vellum underneath to adhere it to the inside of the card. I'm going to snip this bit off so that it doesn't extend beyond the matte layer, and then cut it in the middle, and from the outside edge cut toward the center to make a flag end. So that's the front of your card completed. All I have to do is add the snowflakes, and there are 2 sheets of this, different sizes. So there's the big ones, and there are the smaller ones. So I think I'm going to be using the smaller ones. Maybe I'll use a large one here, a small one there, and a medium-sized one next to it. And for the inside of the card, I'm just simply going to stamp a sentiment in Pool Party, and perhaps a couple of snowflakes underneath. And then glue it to the inside of the card. Apply adhesive on the back. Make sure there's an even border all round. And there you have it. So how quick and easy was that? I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. I like to mix things up. Sometimes my projects are a little bit more detailed and sometimes they're just quick and easy. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back with more inspiration next time. All the links to the supplies are below this video in the Show More section, and if you'd like to read more you can hop over to my blog. The link is also below. Thanks for watching. Bye.